Oh, goodness me. Yes, my people, it is your boy VRD back for another commentated drive. Today's video is going to be a bit of a shorter one. I thought I'd do something a bit different. I've more or less spawned in a class 387 on the East Coastway route, as you can see here. We're going to take a drive from Eastbourne to Brighton, and this service is based off of a real life service, service 1 uniform 03, the 554 Hastings to Brighton service. On our journey today, we're going to be calling at, if I can get the timetable up, Hampden Park, Eastbourne, sorry, no, Hampden Park, Polegate, Berwick, Gland, Lewis, Falmer, Moulscombe, and Brighton.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Mind the gap.
Brilliant. Just go interrupt me, Miss Announcer. So yeah, like I said, I thought I'd just switch it up a bit. The East Coastway route is in a bit of a it needs an update. Let's just say that. I think nowadays it's the class 387s that do the Eastbourne to Brighton services and the Hastings and all bit as well. So yeah, this route's a bit outdated. Let's just say that. I believe it was made back in 2019 is when this route was released. So as you can imagine, yeah, it desperately needs an update. It's got the old class 387 with the terrible sounds as well. Did I say 387? That's a class 377, my bad. It's got the old class 377 with the disgusting sounds. It's horrible, man. So yeah, I thought I'd drive a class 387 over this stretch for a bit more of a pleasant experience. We're not gonna stand around and talk too much because we are due out of here in about 5 minutes. So let's just get the train set up. We're gonna come over to our safety systems isolation panel. AWS isolation switch into the vertical normal position, and same with the vigilance and driver safety device isolation switches. Sit your bottom down in the driver's seat. We're gonna turn on our driver safety device. Driver reminder appliance goes on. Even though I can clearly see that we have a green signal at the end of the platform, I just still like to turn it on when I'm switching on the cab, because that is how you would come across it in reality. Master key in, F and R switch into neutral. Acknowledge the AWS self-test sequence by pressing the AWS reset button. Gonna immediately come over to the door control buttons on the right hand side of the cab. Get those doors open. Going to come over to the passenger information system or passenger information screen, one of the two. Brighton has already been selected automatically, which was nice but not realistic, so no need to fiddle about with that. Headlights into the day running configuration. Tail light switch can remain in auto. Pop outside. Ensure that everything is being displayed correctly, which it is. LED style lights shining from the driver's side. Brighter headlights shining from the non-driver's side, which is the day running configuration, with a nice little Cyclops light up there. And destination display shows Brighton, which is nice, nice and correct. Return to the cab. Sit your bottom in the driver's seat once again, and await your scheduled departure time, which is in about 3 minutes time. I've got real time trains open up on my phone right now, and the game time is synced with real time, which is actually quite impressive. So this train would be, as I'm driving along, this exact train would be doing the same thing in real life, probably using different platforms. I think it's due out of platform 3 in real life. This is platform 1, but I wasn't able to use platform 3 in game because there's another train doing something over there. Like I said, outdated route, old timetable, whatnot. We're gonna make it work. Also, Brighton, I've requested that we be routed into Brighton platform 3 because I know that that's the only platform that will most certainly be free. Well, I'm hoping it will be free because if it's not, I'm gonna look quite stupid. I'd have to do something else when we get there, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, that those are the only main differences that separate this from the real life service. So yeah, as I said, I'm looking at real time trains. That's what I'm gonna look at for reference regarding the stopping pattern of this service and the departure times and whatnot, as opposed to what I usually do looking at the timetable in game. Because as you can see, all it's telling me to do is stop at Brighton, so it doesn't know that I plan on stopping at stations on the way there. Hope that made sense. So we've got about 40 seconds left until our scheduled, well, not our scheduled departure time, but until we can start to get the doors closed and whatnot. Right, we're gonna begin to cross the cab, have a quick look back along the train, quick glance at the platform starter signal, still displaying a green aspect, and we're now 30 seconds prior to our scheduled departure time, so I'm going to press the door close button. Doors are closing, doors are closed. Close the cab door, and even though it's a cloudy day, it is July, so I'm gonna get the window open there. Final glance at the platform starter signal, green, so I'm resetting the driver reminder appliance. FNR switch into forward, and we are going to test out the hill start button here as we move off from Easterbourne. So in a 387 it's a bit different. So to move away using the hill start on a 387, holding the hill start button, release the brakes, power notch 1, wait for a few seconds, notch 2, then instantly release the whole start button. Train should begin to move. Speed limit departing from Eastbourne is 25 miles an hour, raising to 70 miles an hour about half a mile out from the station. Next station is Hampden Park, my people. Next station, Hampden Park. So yeah, like I said in one of my other recent videos, the Scott Rail video, if you haven't seen that, then definitely check that out, but watch this video first, obviously. Duh. Yeah, I said I'm gonna start driving with the minimized HUD. Just only reason for that is because speed limit's about to go up to 70 miles an hour, by the way. That's not the reason I'm driving with the HUD though. No. The reason I'm driving with the HUD is because I just want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing regarding the power and brake notches and whatnot. I feel like it will help you guys get a proper understanding of my driving technique. So that is why I'm going to start playing with the minimal HUD. Unfortunately, it does tell you what the current speed limit is, which I think is a bit annoying because there's no way you can turn that off, and it feels a bit like cheating. But then again, it probably helps you guys as well. So every cloud or whatever the saying is, yeah. Speed limit went up to 70, so I'm just using notch 2 and notch 1 of power to up it to 30 miles an hour. Now that we're at 30 miles an hour, I'm going to perform a running brake test. So brake step 2, 50% braking, whatever you want to call it. Shave off 10 miles an hour, release the brakes, and back into full power. Next station, Hampden Park. Now, it has been a while since I drove along this route, so since I last drove along this route, I'm gonna be a bit rusty with the braking points and whatnot, so just bear with me, guys, okay? Please bear with me. I, I think the next signal that we come across, you can see it coming up in the distance, that is a good place to get the brakes in for Hampden Park. So as we pass over the AWS magnet for that, I'm gonna shut off the power, and as we pass that signal, I'm gonna get brake step 2 in, just like so, and that should bring us into Hampden Park station on a decent braking curve. Yeah, you can just see the platforms coming up now. Aiming for about 25 miles an hour up to 30 miles an hour coming into the platform here. Stopping position is towards the end of the platform, so not too much to worry about, but it isn't the longest platform in the world, so I'd say go for about 25 miles an hour just to be safe. Reducing down to brake step 1 as well, just to have a nice smooth curve of braking as we get closer to the stopping position. There it is coming up here, nice and hidden behind the station canopy. Just trying to have the stop board in the little porthole window here, just like so. Perfect. Brake step 3, full service, neutral, and we have a door release on the the left. Oh dear. What time are we due out of here? I have to keep checking my phone. I have to keep checking my phone to see oh goodness, hold on. Oh, so we departed from Eastbourne 3 minutes late. That's my bad, guys. I think we departed Eastbourne at 6:36, but we were meant to depart at 6:33, which is a bit embarrassing. So yeah, the service is now running late, so I can just close the doors whenever I want. That's the only good thing about that. So we're gonna pretend that our DOO monitors aren't working. So I'm gonna do a bit of look back dispatch here. Looking back along the platform there, checking the platform starter signal, green, closing those doors. Doors are closed and interlocked, as you can see. Door close button lights illuminate. Signal is still green. Level, oh no, it's a bit of an upward gradient here at here at Hampden Park. Forward, pressing in the hill start button, release the brakes. Notch 1, notch 2, release the hill start button, train begins to move. Final look back along the platform, all is well. And once up to 5 miles an hour, straight into full power. Speed limit is 70 miles an hour, increasing to 80 miles an hour in about 3/4 of a mile, and then down to 35 miles an hour in about 2 miles. Next station is Polegate. Next station, Polegate. So yeah, it's a bit embarrassing that we're running 4 minutes late at the moment, but it's not unheard of. Let's be honest. You be standing at your station thinking that your train's gonna come on time, whether you see 4 minutes late. That like it happens, man. So yeah, this isn't the most unrealistic run through. Speed limit's just gone up to 80 miles an hour, by the way. That was nowhere near 3/4 of a mile. I think I got the commencement of the 80 limit confused with the warning board for the 35 limit. I think the warning board for the 35 limit was 3/4 of a mile away from me when I said that. So that's what happened. Acknowledging an AWS warning regarding the 35 warning board that I was literally just talking about. So we're shutting off the power. What I'm going to do is make a brake step 2 application at this signal here. That should begin to scrub off our speed. Gonna reduce it down to brake step 1 at 55 miles an hour. Commencement of the 35 mile an hour speed limit is just around this right hand bend here. It's a bit hidden around the corner. It's just after the beginning of the left hand bend. So we're down to 35, releasing the brakes, and you can see the sneaky little 35 board coming up there. And we are on an upward gradient coming into Polegate Station here. So speed is going to continue to fall down. I'm actually going to give it 2 steps of power just to maintain a bit of speed, because we are running quite late. If we were running on time, then maybe I wouldn't need to do that, but we're trying to claw back as much time as possible, so keeping tight to the speed limit is not unheard of in situations like this. And here we are entering the platform at Polegate. It's a nice long platform, so a 30 mile an hour entry speed will do us just fine. More like 35 miles an hour, but again, long 12 long 12 car platform. Absolutely no risk of flying through the other side of the station here. 4 carriage stopping position is hidden behind the canopy, similar to Hampden Park. Right there. Right there. Again, just trying to put that in the window there. Perfect. Brake step 3, neutral, door release on the left. How late are we now? Did we claw back any time? Departure from Polegate 6:42. 6:43, my bad. So we're 3 minutes late. We're not doing too bad. Green signal, look back along the platform, door close button. Yep, all fine to me. Final look at the signal, green. Always check the signal before you move. Make sure that's the last thing that you do before taking power. Forward, hill start button, release the brakes. Notch 1, notch 2, release hill start button. Final look back along the platform. 5 miles an hour, notch 4. Speed limit is now 90 miles an hour. It went up to 90 miles an hour about 500 yards from the platform here at Polegate. So just bear that in mind. But you have a nice little second 90 board that we just passed there to remind you, in case you didn't see the first one. Next station is Berwick, and Berwick is Berwick is always a scary station to approach in both directions. There's not really a solid braking point that you can use, and the gradient as well. The gradient could just throw you off. So this is going to be interesting. I used to always struggle with the approach at Berwick when I first started driving on this route. It's one of the stations that I actually overshot. I've overshot Berwick. I think I've only overshot it once, but I've had to use brake step 3 multiple times when approaching it, because it's such an illusion. I'm approaching that station. It's so weird. It's also worth mentioning that the speed limit goes down to 75 miles an hour on the approach to Berwick Station, but because we're stopping at Berwick Station, that's not really going to affect us, because it goes up to 90 miles an hour literally on the other side of Berwick. But a train that wasn't planning on stopping at Berwick would definitely need to keep that in mind. So now we just came off a right hand bend. We're on this nice long straight section of track. This is the first signal of the long straight section. As we come up on the second signal, so the next signal we're going to come across, that is where I'm going to think about getting the brakes in. But when I see that signal in the distance, that's when I'll start thinking about getting the brakes in. When we get to that signal, I definitely need to get the brakes in, or we're going to have problems. We're also up to 90 miles an hour, so I'm shutting off the power here. You can see we're on a downward gradient, so no need to keep reapplying power to maintain speed. The gradient, gravity is helping us, although that does become an upward gradient now. There's the signal that I was talking about, so I'm gonna get a brake step 2 application in nice and early. But we are on an upward gradient at the moment, so I'm probably gonna have to reduce that to brake step 1 pretty soon to prevent us from slowing down too early. In fact, I'm gonna reduce that to brake step 1 now. And we're gonna see how the braking does. Might need to up it to brake step 2 again. In fact, yep, doing that now because I can see the platforms coming up. And literally, like I was talking about, the platforms are right there already. So up to brake step 3 completely caught me out. Down to brake step 1, 20 mile an hour entry speed into Berwick Station in this direction, because the stopping position is, it's not, it is quite far along the platform, but you want to be, you just want to be on the safer side, because it's about halfway along the platform, so you don't want to be coming in too fast and getting caught out. You need to tap on the power there just to creep up to the stopping position. And there we are. That was a horrible approach, but we're stopped in the correct place, so who cares. Berwick Station, my people, Berwick Station. We definitely we definitely got some time back with that approach, though. That's the only good thing. Always look for the positive of every situation, not just focus on the negatives. It's good to focus on how the situation benefited you as well. Where's Berwick? 6:48. Still 3 minutes. Who cares? Right. We have no platform starter signal, but I remember the last signal being green. And as you can see, our AWS visual indication is blank, so that provides evidence that the last signal was green. If that was displaying the cautionary indication and you can't remember what the last signal was, then you've had it. You have to drive assuming that the next signal is red, and who's got time for that? Excuse me. Look back along the platform. Doors close. Perfect. Forward, and we're on an upward gradient again, so we're gonna need to use the whole start button as we move off here. Nice, lovely stuff. Next station is Glide. What was I gonna say? Speed limits went down to 75 miles an hour on the approach to Berwick Station, and it's now going back up to 90 miles an hour, as you guys can see there. We've got a nice little whistle board coming up as well. I'm not a fan of how the whistle sound gets a bit glitched when the windows open. That's one thing that I've noticed that I hope that they update. In certain trains when you're driving along, I say certain trains, it's really just the Electro Star that this tends to happen in. When you're driving along in the Electro Star, it's as if the outside sounds overwhelm the sound of the horn, and it ends up sounding a bit weird. It's like the ending sound of the horn gets cut off. Let me sound it again and see if you guys can hear what I'm talking about. Yeah, you see with the high tone just then, when I let go of it, it just instantly went silent. It didn't gradually fade away like it's supposed to. So yeah, I'm not sure what that's about, but I don't like it. Developers, fix it. It's worth mentioning that the speed limit goes down to 80 miles an hour in about 3/4 of a mile, I'd say. So what you're looking for is a left-hand bend, an overbridge, a nice old-fashioned arched overbridge. At that point, start thinking about getting the brakes in for the 80 mile an hour speed limit. At the second arched overbridge, so it's more or less identical to the first one. I'm not sure if they're identical in real life, but in game they are identical. So here's the first bridge coming up now. We're on an upward gradient, so speed is beginning to roll back already. You can see the second bridge coming up in the distance. In fact, no, you can't. But I'd say about 500 yards after passing the first bridge, just get a tap of the brakes in to bring you down to 80 miles an hour. There's the 80 limit there commencing, and here's the second bridge I was on about. So the 80 mile an hour speed limit commences just before that second bridge there. So that is your form of reference. And at the signal immediately beyond the commencement of the 80 mile an hour speed limit, get your brakes in for Gland Station. Just reducing that down to brake step 1. I feel like I got a bit of PTSD from the approach at Berwick Station there. So being better safe than sorry. Way too early on the brakes. Way too early. So yeah, I'm gonna have to release them and crawl into the station like a little chicken. So yeah, maybe brake slightly after passing that signal, or brake lightly at the signal. I think I was braking a bit too heavily for too long. I should have reduced that down to brake step 1 a lot sooner than I did. Now we're probably entering a bit too fast. We'll see what happens. I think 30 mile an hour into here is a bit too extreme. Oh no, the brakes seem to be holding it down for us. Not burst the brake step 3 momentarily there, just to keep us from shooting past the stopping position. Perfect. Brake step 3, neutral, door release on the left. I find that very frustrating when I have a very cautious approach into a station, but then I end up needing to brake hard at the last minute. It just makes me think that everything I did before was for nothing. I should have just had an aggressive approach the whole time. Very annoying. Let's just check the timetable. What time are we due out of Gland? 6:54. Still 3 minutes late, but whatever. Green signal. Door close button. I can't see, my guy. I can't see. Get out the way, please. Right, so in a situation like this, yeah, I can't see all the way down to I can't see the entirety of the train, so I'm gonna select forward, release the brakes. We're on a downward gradient, so no need for a hill start. Notch 1, or the guy's moved now, so I can see the entirety of the train, but I couldn't see it before. So what I would have done is just hung about in power notch 1 for a little bit, just to have a very slow departure. That way, if anyone was trapped, I'd be in deep trouble for even beginning to move the train with someone trapped in the doors. But that way, if someone was trapped and I'm in power notch 1, the train's gonna begin to move very slowly. So it just gives them a bit of time to be like, oh hey, I'm stuck, help, help. Other passengers on the station, like if you've got a packed platform, obviously are gonna react to that. So you're gonna pick up on it straight away, put the emergency brakes in, and passengers shouldn't be too hurt. Like they should still remain upright, because I can't imagine you getting above 10 miles an hour in a situation like that. So yeah, that is my little technique. Like I said, you're still gonna you're gonna be in deep trouble for that. You know, beginning to move a set with a passenger stuck on the doors is poor observation, but it, if you can prevent the passenger getting hurt, then that's from a from a moral standpoint. You know, you've done the right thing, innit? Uh, you couldn't see the full length of the train. This is why they need guards. This is why guards are important. You know. Anyway, speed limit is 80 miles an hour, shortly going down to 70. So this signal coming up in the distance, that is where the 70 limit starts. So getting a brake step one application in now just to bring us down to 70. Releasing the brakes. Speed limit is now 70 miles an hour. About to go down to 60 miles an hour. So as we enter this right hand bend, another brake step one application, acknowledging an AWS alert. Speed limit is now 60 miles an hour with a warning board for an upcoming 40 mile an hour speed limit below that. So speed limit is about to go down to 40 miles an hour. Another AWS alert regarding these two warning boards here, telling us that the speed limit is going down further to 20 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour for trains like us that will be turning left. So we need to keep that in mind. Getting a brake application in for the 40 limit, down to 40 miles an hour. For those of you paying attention, you would have seen that I entered the 40 zone a bit too quickly, but not the end of the world. Only 3 miles an hour or so above the speed limit. You're not going to get in trouble for that. As you can see there, the signal had the position 1 junction indication telling us that we are being routed into platform. What platform is it? Platform 4, I think, at Lewis, which is the upcoming station here. Also worth mentioning that at the AWS magnet approaching that signal, the AWS magnet associated with that signal, if you're doing 40 miles an hour, which is the speed limit, get a brake step one application in at the AWS magnet of that signal, and that will bring you down to the upcoming 20 and 10 mile an hour speed limits respectively on a very good braking curve. So that is my little technique for coming into Lewis station here. The approach to Lewis station is very intense. It reminds me of landing an airplane. I remember I said this in one of my very first videos. There's so many speed limit changes coming up to the station. Stopping position is about 2 carriage lengths from the end of the platform here. The 4 carriage stopping position, I should say. Ugh! Brake step 3. Everyone spilled their coffee. Perfect. Neutral door release on the left. Lewis station, my people. Lewis station. Due out of here at 7:01. So look at that. We are now 2 minutes late instead of 3 minutes late. So we clawed back a bit of time. Anyway, green signal. Let's get those doors closed. Doors are closed. Interlocked. Signal is still green. Forward. Level terrain departing from Lewis, so no need for the whole start. Into notch 1 of power. And the speed limit is only 10 miles an hour, so I'm gonna remain in power notch 1. Some people would use notch 2 to go up to 10 miles an hour. But I'm too lazy to go into notch two and then back into notch one and then shut it off. It's just easier to go into notch one and then back to off. Like you're only gonna reach 10 miles an hour about 5 seconds quicker than doing the whole thing in notch one. So what's the point? And speed limit is about to go up to 55 miles an hour. In reality, that 55 miles an hour starts at the bridge just after the station. But like I said, this is an outdated route, so you know we have to wait until we're all the way over here before we can start accelerating, which is annoying. Notch 4 of power. We now have a gigantic climb between here and the next station, which is Farmer. We only reached the summit of that climb when we're about, I'd say, 3/4 of a mile out from Farmer Station. This is known as I think this is called is it the Farmer Bank? I think it's called the Farmer Bank, the hill that we're climbing up now, but I might be wrong. So we're up to 50 miles an hour. Gonna start cutting back on the power a bit, just to prevent us from exceeding 55. We're in notch 2 of power at the moment, but we're barely maintaining speed, like just about gaining a bit more speed. That's a testament to how steep the gradient is right now. Speed limit is about to go up to 70 miles an hour, so I'm gonna remain in notch 2 of power until we're clear of the 70 board. There it is coming up now. 45 over 70, so we're clear to do 70 miles an hour as a passenger train, but other types of trains, including freight trains, will have to do 45, which sucks for them. Full power. This is giving me memories of when I used to drive 313s. Oh, do you know what? I'd love to drive a 313 along here again, just for the culture. Like they were taken out of service before I started my YouTube channel, so it just doesn't. It feels wrong driving one now. Like, I'm all for the realism in my videos, so I try to play the game in a realistic manner. I don't really I don't really dabble into the reskins and anything like that, because no shade to people that do stuff like that. I understand some people literally just want to have fun when it comes to this game, but me personally, I treat this as a simulation, and a simulation is the intentions of a simulation is to depict reality. So I play this game in an as realistic as possible manner. So driving a train that was taken out of service in real life doesn't seem right to me. But one thing I wouldn't mind doing is maybe um that what was the one that got preserved? 313201 in the British Royal livery. I wouldn't mind taking that out for a spin, because there's a probability that that would happen one day in real life. So maybe I because I have the 313 installed. In fact, no, it's not installed at the moment. I uninstalled it to stop it from appearing in the game, but I might reinstall it and then download the reskin for it and then take the reskin version out for a spin somewhere. But yeah, other than that, I'm not touching that train. Sorry, guys. Alright, so you can see we've got a substation coming up on the left. That substation marks the summit of the climb. So we're now about 3/4 of a mile out from Farmer Station. I'm gonna get a brake step 2 application in as we enter this tunnel here to begin slowing down for Farmer. We're now on a ridiculously steep downward gradient. Actually, we're on level terrain at the moment, but it's going to become a very steep downward gradient in a second. If you aim to be doing about 40 miles an hour coming out of this tunnel, reducing to brake step 1 at that point will bring you into far more on a very good braking curve indeed. So yeah, aim to be doing about 40 miles an hour coming out of that tunnel. Brake step 1 from that point will serve you very well. Speed limit also went down to 60 miles an hour as we exited that tunnel, but because we're stopping at Farmer Station, that has no effect over us whatsoever. But a train that wasn't stopping here, similar to at Berwick Station, a train that wasn't stopping at Farmer would definitely need to keep that in mind. 4 carriage stopping position is the second set of stop boards that you're going to come across, so try not to stop at the 2 to 3 carriage stopping position by mistake like I've done many times. It's just beyond the footbridge here where you want to come to a stand at. Beautiful work, beautiful. Brake step 3, neutral, door release on the left. Farmer Station, my people, Farmer Station. We're now 2 minutes late. Oh no, we were 2 minutes late departing from Lewis. Okay, yeah, makes sense. I thought I was special for a sec. I really thought I was special. Green signal. I'm not trying to hang about at these stations for too long because I've got work soon as well, so I can't even I can't even take too long on this drive. Uh, looks all good to me. Yep. Green signal. Want a downward gradient. Very steep downward. Well, not too steep, but it is a downward gradient. So no need for the whole start button. Forward. Release the brakes. Notch 1 of power. Notch 2. Just looking back along the platform there. Notch 3. Now I'm gonna linger about in notch 3 for a bit, and I'm gonna explain why. Speed limit is currently 60 miles an hour, going up to 70 miles an hour in about quarter of a mile, I'd say. So by hanging about in power notch 3, it basically keeps me below 60 miles an hour until I'm clear of the 60 mile an hour speed limit. That way I don't need to accelerate up to 60 and then shut off the power, wait until I'm clear of the 60 zone and then reapply power. It's a bit of effort. So yeah, by maintaining power notch 3, you can see we're doing 52 miles an hour now, and we are now in the 70 zone, so can now go into full power or power notch 4. Gives us a constant acceleration in up to 70 miles an hour instead of accelerating and then shutting off power and then re-accelerating. Who's got time for that? So yeah, a little tip for you guys. Up to 70 miles an hour, so I'm now shutting off power. And as we pass over this little viaduct here, gonna get a brake step 2 application in for the next station, which is Moulscombe, and the final station that we're going to be calling at before Brighton. It's not the final station on the route before Brighton, but it's the final station that we're going to be stopping at before Brighton. There is one more station after this known as London Road, Brighton, but we're not going to be stopping there. You can see we've got a warning board as well for an upcoming 55 mile an hour speed limit. Also, coming into Moulscombe station here, the platform is not too long, so I'd say aim for about 20 miles an hour or so coming into the platform. You're on a downward gradient as well, so keep that in mind, please. Stopping position is at the end of the platform, or near enough the end of the platform. Ooh, stopped a bit too early there, just creeping up to the stopping position. There we are, perfect. Brake step 3, neutral, door release on the left. Moulscombe. Muscle coom. I used to call this muscle coom, you know. I was actually a funny guy. Um, 7:13. Oh, we're now 1 minute late, my people. We're now 1 minute late. So we've more or less clawed back all the time that we lost along this journey here. We went from being 3 minutes late to 1 minute late. That is an achievement. No platform starter signal, but like I said, AWS magnet is blank, so we know that the last signal that we passed was displaying a green aspect. So let's get those doors closed. Everything is closed and interlocked perfectly. No one trapped in the doors. Forward on a downward gradient. We don't need the whole start button. Notch 1, notch 2. Yep, no one being dragged along for the ride. 5 miles an hour up to notch 4. Next station is Brighton Station. Next station, Brighton Station. So very important to remember that the speed limit goes down to 55 miles an hour, about a quarter of a mile out from Moulskin Station. And we've also got a further reduction in the speed limit down to 30 miles an hour, and that commences just beyond the platform of the next station that we're going to pass through, which is London Road Brighton Station. So we're up to 55 miles an hour, shutting off the power. And I'm going to make a brake application for the 30 mile an hour speed limit as we enter this tunnel here that I can never remember the name of, so I'm just going to call it London Road Tunnel. So brake step 2, 30 limit starts literally just at the other end of the platform here. You can see the board for it coming up now, so just making sure that we're down for that in time. Reducing down to brake step 1 and releasing the brakes. And we're now entering the beautiful London Road Viaduct. Oh, I was in Brighton literally the other day, last week, and I actually drove underneath this viaduct. It is absolutely massive. It doesn't look too big in game, but when you're actually at ground level looking up, it is huge. Signal protecting Brighton Station telling us that we're being routed into platform 3 there. Speed limit goes down to 20 miles an hour, not too far beyond that signal as well, so just keep that in mind. What I'm actually going to do is decelerate further down to 15 miles an hour. Not decelerate, brake. A lot of the time in some of my older videos I say the word decelerate, but I've now embarrassingly learned that I've been using the word incorrectly. Decelerate is when you're still accelerating. No, sorry. Oh, your decelerate, I believe, is when your speed is increasing, but the rate of acceleration is decreasing. So that's what decelerate means. Braking or slowing down is something completely different. So yeah, quite embarrassing. But the reason I slowed down to 15 miles an hour is just so we can negotiate the set of points just outside Brighton Station in an appropriate manner. I'm fairly sure that trains do that in real life. I can't imagine a train passing over those points at 20 to 25 miles an hour. They're just too, the turning radius on those points is just too tight. So yeah, I tend to do 15 miles an hour going over those points just to be nice and safe. We also had one more signal protecting the second half of platform 3 coming into Brighton Station here. Platform 3 is split into 2 parts, so you should also keep that in mind. Brought it down to 10 miles an hour, about 4 carriage lengths away from the buffer stops, because that is where you would come across the TPWS grids in reality, which are set to trip your train and cause an emergency brake application if you pass over them at more than 10 miles an hour. So yep, finally coming to a stand with the buffer stops just in line with the boundary of the windscreen there. Just when the buffer stops disappear from your line of sight, that's a good place to be stopped at. 6 feet away from the buffer stops is the general rule. Full service, neutral, driver reminder appliance set, as we are at buffer stops which are classed as red signals, and door release on the left. Oh, excuse me guys, my voice. Selecting off on the F and R switch, removing the master key. Headlight switch can remain in the day running position. Tail light switch, it can stay in auto. What does that say up there? Oh, that is the air conditioning vent. I thought that was a. I looked at that for a split second and I thought it was like a sticker or something with words on it, but it's the air conditioning. Do you know what it is? It's because on the 377 there's a sticker there with words on it. Anyway, AWS isolation switch into the horizontal isolated position. Same with the driver safety device and vigilance isolation switches. Close the window, almost left it open. That would have been good. You got you get a person climb through the window to make a little home in the cab. You don't want that. Anyway, that concludes this commentated drive. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Constructive feedback and criticism is more than welcome in the comment section below and is highly appreciated. If you'd like to further support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing, or sharing the video if you're feeling extra generous. But I will catch you guys in the next one. Love.